G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft as we bring you some more awesome Heart of the Swarm action. This time in the top left hand corner it is going to be our red Zerg Suppy. In the top right hand corner of the map it's going to be our purple Zerg Avril Lavigne, better known as Acer Scarlett. This is game 3 in a best of 3 series from MLG's Game On, an online tournament that was run quite recently, and it's been a fantastic series of games thus far. Both game 1 and 2 quite nail-biting quite quickly as both players got stuck in, or more particularly Suppy tried some interesting shenanigans and Scarlett fought tooth and nail to hold them off. Each of our players has managed to take a game thus far, and game 3 is going to be our decider, so we'll see just what these two have in store for us. And Scarlett's just been fairly relentlessly going for a macro game, generally hatches first versus Zerg players. We'll see if she likewise does that this game, or in light of the fact that Suppy's made some fairly aggressive plays recently, we'll see if she chooses to go for the spawning pool first. Map is of course Habitation Station with these high yields, so we'll see if Suppy interacts with these at all. Suppy's been well known in the past for his very deliberate choices to expand straight into high yield expansion, so we'll see if Suppy does that again here in game number 3, or whether we'll see something just a little bit different. Looks like Suppy may well be going for a natural expand, and probably a little bit safer, particularly in a ZvZ game. We'll see Scarlett and Suppy both scouting each other now, and in fact Scarlett is going for a spawning pool first, so it looks like in the deciding game Scarlett going to be playing just that little bit safer. On the other hand, Suppy going to be throwing down his hatchery first. It's going to be a little bit of a role reversal, so this game we're likely to see Scarlett as the aggressor and Suppy as the defender. We'll see if it plays out that way, or whether we have Suppy managing to get on the front foot all 3 games in a row. So just while we wait for this game to get underway, guys, obviously both natural expansions are down. Just like to talk about the channel for a little bit. By the time you're viewing this, I should be away on holidays, heading away for about 2 weeks. But never fear, we've cast a stack of StarCraft 2 content over the last 6 or 7 days to ensure there's plenty of StarCraft 2 action to keep you guys entertained while I'm away. They'll be uploaded progressively to the channel at 8 AM or 8 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead and jump on the channel at those times if you want to catch them fresh, or just catch them in your feed as you log on for the day. So I hope you guys enjoy them. Going to be so much StarCraft 2 you won't know what hit you, but by all means please share them with some other people. We as you may have guessed, we are of course a YouTube channel. We like to have lots of viewers and subscribers here, so by all means any of those videos that you can share with your family, friends, other diehard esports fans, or really anyone you can drag in front of a PC would be much appreciated. So go ahead and share them on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, and we'd love to entertain your friends as well. So looks like we have Suppy moving out here for a scout. Scarlett's going to be on the defense, though these two Zerglings on their own don't pose that much of a threat. Looks like Scarlett actually going to be sending her Queen down to deal with this Overlord. That's going to be a little bit of a problem for Suppy. Losing that Queen will potentially losing the Overlord, sorry, will potentially supply block Suppy. Looks like Scarlett's going to be chasing these two Zerglings away, and we do have a Baneling nest coming up quite quickly. So it looks like rather than the quite early aggressive Zergling play, this game's going to transition safely into the Baneling versus Baneling stage. And I don't know about you other Zerg players out there, but I find this stage to be the most nail-biting part of a ZvZ to play, that is. When it comes to watching, I enjoy the slightly later game stage, but particularly early on, the Baneling vs Baneling, very difficult to play and micro effectively, quite easy to win or lose the game in a matter of moments. Both our players have the first couple of Banelings on the field. Looks like Scarlett's going to pull back into a defensive position. Got an Overlord a Spine Crawler coming up here. We've got a few Banelings morphing in for defense. A second Spine Crawler actually going down. So Scarlett being super careful here, not wanting to pay the price. We have Banelings cancelling out Banelings, and quite a few Speedlings here coming out the ramp. A couple of Queens here going to stop those from doing too much damage. Scarlett got to be very careful she doesn't leave this base too exposed. Actually looks like some of the Zergling forces of Suppy are going to be falling back, so this couple of Zergling not going to survive running past the Spine Crawlers. So looks like Scarlett will be able to stabilise there. If we take a look at the economic tab, We see both our players fairly evenly matched here, 40 harvesters to 37, so no real difference to speak of there. We have Scarlett streaking across the map with a few Zerglings, but it looks like Suppy likewise will be in a great position to defend here. It's amazing just how similar their defensive choices are, with the Baneling Nest and the Spine Crawler on a relatively similar angle. Looks like Scar's going to be falling back, and the interesting part about the early stages of ZvZ is the amount of overlords mean that both players are relatively fighting without surprise. There's quite an amazing amount of map vision on this game. If we look at either player's vision, we can see great chunks of vision, particularly Suppy's vision, quite incredible with those 5 overlords scattered. No real surprises here. So Scarlett going to be picking away at that hatchery. Some nice micro going to be chasing these Zerglings back and forward. A few Banelings morph in are going to end the party for Scarlett, but Scarlett pulling back to the high ground, deciding to grab just a few Banelings of her own, and Suppy's got to be very careful. Running up the ramp into these morphine Banelings could be the equivalent of deciding to dodge a car by jumping on the train track, so got to be super careful there, and those Banelings potentially doing massive damage to these Zergling forces. So we have Scarlett here going to be picking away at these at the Banelings of Suppy, and Suppy now getting a little bit of surround. Both players devoid of Banelings now as they cancel each other out, and Scarlett and Suppy just locked in a dance of death here with the Zerglings. Both players desperately trying to gain a little bit of an edge, but Scarlett staying just tantalizingly out of reach of this Spine Crawler. So looks like Scarlett did cop a big hit from one of those Banelings, so is going to be making a break for home. Is going to have plenty of defense in place. Spine Crawler here in between the third base and the natural, but Suppy just going to be coming very aggressively towards Scarlett. Got to watch out there. Could always be a Baneling or two hiding in the fringes. So looks like Scarlett and Suppy very well matched in this stage of the game. We have Mutalisk on the way for Scarlett, of course 9 on the way for Scarlett, as opposed to the 4 of Suppy. So Scarlett's gas mining just a little bit ahead of Suppy, and that's not surprising. She did get the third base online just a little bit quicker. Scarlett was able to harass Suppy's down quite a bit, and Scarlett's going to be able to potentially pick off a few of Suppy's overlords if he's not careful. So vision could well be diminished along with a little bit of the supply cap. So Suppy trying to fall back into a slightly more defensive posture as these Mutalisks just make a beeline for Suppy's main base. Overlord here potentially going to be picked off by these Mutalisks. Indeed it does. Will go down. 3 volleys will do the trick, and the Overlord explodes there over the edge. You can see it falling down into space there. Suppy trying to engage in the middle of the map, but great micro from Scarlett's going to be pulling back away from that. No, she just needs to defend her third base. Does have the Mutalisk advantage, which is a deciding factor in ZvZ. It just gives you a little bit of extra mobility. Scarlett's Mutalisk, of course, slightly higher in number. We have 14 to 12, and Suppy unfortunately was supply block, so just a little bit slower to morph in here. It's up to 17 Mutalisks for Scarlett now. We have the Flyer Carapace coming up now. If you're wondering why the armor upgrade, so that the Mutalisk glaives do a lot less damage to the enemy Mutalisks, or well, take less damage from the enemy Mutalisks, so both players grabbing that. And Scarlett, it looks like Suppy's finished up his armor, now going to be grabbing his +1 weapon. Scarlett going to be waiting to engage until that armor is complete. Indeed, there it is. So Scarlett in a position to attack here, but just wanting to be careful. Can't afford to lose these Mutalisks. If you blink first with your Mutalisks and lose the engagement, it is a devastating effect. Suppy actually almost split his mutas there. It could have been catastrophic if Scarlett had turned around in time. Unfortunately for Scarlett, must have been watching somewhere else on the map. Both these players trying to micro their Mutalisks as best they can, and Suppy just mustering his Zerglings underneath this, wanting to soak up as much of the opposing Mutalisk fire as he can. So Scarlett actually running her Zerglings by for a counter-attack, but Scarlett's Mutalisk going to do a lot of damage here to Suppy's own forces. So we have both Suppy and Scarlett trying to protect themselves from counter-attack damage, though Scarlett's force going to make a beeline for the main base as Suppy tries to clear up these Zerglings that are now in his natural base. So it looks like Scarlett's taken the lead here in this engagement. Gets a nice engagement there, 2 whole volleys before Suppy fires, and this is very telling. We can see the Mutalisk count starting to fall for Suppy. It's 21 to 25 of Scarlett. So Scarlett getting right on top of these Mutalisks, and it's now 14 to 19. Scarlett still 5 Mutalisks up. This is bad news for Suppy's Mutalisk cloud plummets down to 9. It's 15 for Scarlett, so Scarlett massive edge here. Did do quite a bit of economic damage. If we check the workers killed, actually only 2, so a little bit less damage than I thought, but that distraction allowed Scarlett to get the massive advantage with her own Mutalisk. Losing a queen in her main base is quite a blowback though, so not really wanting to pay that price there, but nice counter attack from Suppy. A few more Zerglings going to get picked up there on the ramp. And Scarlett in a great position as we move forward. 18 Mueller, so up by 8, another 5 on the way. Oh, sorry, 6 on the way, 3 more for Suppy as well. So Suppy desperately trying to play catch up here. But Scarlett just picked a great engagement. They're going to drop 2 of these Overlords as well. Every little bit of pressure you can get, and somehow the entire Overlord manages to turn into that patch of blood. So that's a pretty impressive trick of physics, guys. This Spore Crawler is absolutely devastating to the Mutalisk. Got to steer so clear of those. A lot of the times against other factions, you try to focus down the photon cannon or the missile turret. Oh, another Zergling counterattack in the second base. Going to give Scarlett another opportunity to pick off a few units. Will she make the most of it? Looks like she's unwilling to risk her units at this point in time. A few Zerglings in her own expansion is going to be doing a little bit of damage to her third base. The gas, though, crucially still mining. All about the gas in a ZvZ. Scarlett's 4th base on the way, as is Suppy's, just starting off there. And Scarlett going to clean up the remainder of these Zerglings. So it is dead even in this game. Both our players hovering right under 140 supply. If we check out the units lost tab, it's 9,600 to Suppy as opposed to 7,500 for Scarlett. So Scarlett doing a great job of keeping these units alive. Actually going to manage to snipe the hatchery there, force the cancel, and Scarlet Zerglings just going to absolute town on Suppy. And are the upgrades really that different? There is one upgrades for flyers, but literally no upgrades for ground units. So Scarlett's positioning just slightly better there. We have +2 armor on the way now for Scarlett's air units. That's going to be a substantial benefit for those Muelers. Mueller's going to be picking off another Overlord. That's just every little bit of damage counts. We have Suppy here actually making a beeline for the 4th base. Realizes that Scarlett obviously has this established and really needs to take it out before Scarlett can get any more gas advantage than she already has. Scarlett's Mueller's here going to engage. Scarlett, it looks like the +2 armor cancelled, and indeed the armor did cancel, so that was unfortunate. That would have been very useful, but Suppy GG'ing here as Scarlett catches him in the corner of the map. So excellent game from both our players. Unfortunately for Suppy, Scarlett is the victor this time. Super excited to see her progress on in this tournament. Sad to see Suppy go. He's just so much fun to watch, but super psyched to see the remainder of Scarlett's game. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know down below what you thought of the series. It was a little bit of erratic ZvZ. We've had quite a little bit of back and forth between Suppy and Scarlett, but it was quite fun and entertaining to watch. I loved Scarlett's engagement in that match. It was textbook. Her Mutalisk just catching the right angle over Suppy and making the most of the counterattack she had in progress. So Scarlett managed to be victorious there, and we'll be casting plenty more Aussie StarCraft, guys. So I hope you guys tune into the channel. By all means, please subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you here in the future. And yeah, don't disappear on us, guys. Plenty more MLG game on coming up right after the break. So we'll see you in the next cast.